Okay, I just wanted to go through this in case you had some struggles understanding the satire in the Iran coronavirus. So this article is from The Onion. You look at the title: Trump administration releases best case scenario projections for coronavirus, where 8 million Iranian people die. Hopefully, that is an indicator right off. This is not real. Okay, as many those who have turned it in said, the president would not get away with saying that. Trump can get away with saying a lot of stuff, but he wouldn't come out and say, "We're really hoping that 8 million people will die." That's not our hope. It's what they're doing here is they're mixing up two different issues. We have issues with Iran, and by the way, we're not at war with Iran. Some of you seem to think that based on the answers you wrote down. We're not at war with Iran. We don't have any soldiers in Iran, but we do have some issues with them. We've bombed them a few times and that kind of stuff, but it's mixing it up with the issue over coronavirus. So I'll just read through this. Washington. This is news articles. That means this is where they're writing from. Striking an optimistic tone in his daily press briefing about the global pandemic, President Trump spoke to reporters Thursday, detailing his administration's best case scenario projections for coronavirus, where 8 million Iranian people are killed. If we're very lucky, we could be looking at many millions of dead Iranians, which is why we must do everything in our power to act, said Trump, confirming that the U.S. government would be pouring resources into continued sanctions and military action against Iran to boost those numbers. We're taking this very seriously and monitoring the situation at all times, and we're hopeful that we could hit this target or maybe even go past it, okay, past the 8 million. But the reality is this is just a projection, and it could tragically be as low as 3 or 4 million. We need help from every sector to make sure these citizens are unable to receive medical assistance and continue dying in the street. When pressed by reporters, Trump acknowledged that the time had come to confront the ugly reality that at least some Iranians would survive. Okay, so again, I got my TA here, huh, bud? My TA with his hair not combed, huh? At least he has hair. So, if you're looking at this, the whole thing is satire. Okay, this press conference never happened where he came out and said this stuff about Iran. Trump he does his press conference every morning on the coronavirus situation, but he doesn't come out and they would not come out and say, "We hope that 8 million Iranians would die," because there's a lot of hyperbole and sarcasm. Hyperbole is exaggeration. 8 million Iranians dying would be an exaggeration. Okay, coronavirus isn't going to kill that many people. It's going to kill a lot, but it's not going to kill 8 million Iranians. And then there's a lot of irony here, and I'm taking some of this from you guys' answers. We've had some really good answers on this one. Said if we're lucky, we could be looking at millions of dead Iranians. That's irony. You would expect the lucky to be like, it's unfortunate, but there's going to be millions of dead Iranians, because even countries we don't get along. It's not every single person in that country we don't get along with. It's not like we want them all to die. Okay. Which is why we must do everything in our power to act. Well, what's the act you would expect? And so the irony is you would expect them to be doing something good, but they don't. Okay, irony is you expect one thing, something else happens. So I expect we're taking this very seriously and monitoring the situation at all times, and we're hopeful that we can hit this target. Okay, it's sarcastic. They don't really mean this, or maybe even go past it. But the reality is this is just a projection that could tragically be as low as 3 or 4 million. And so again, tragically, they're using the word tragically, ironically. It would be a tragedy for that many people to die. They're saying it'd be a tragedy if only that many people died. Okay. So the whole thing is satire. So this is not a real article. Is this a real news report? I haven't had anybody say yes. So you're smart. We figured it out. What is one line that indicates that this is not a real news article, and how can you tell? Okay, it's easy enough. Hopefully you do that. Number 3, in a substantial paragraph, that means big. Some of you need to work on that. Explain the satire of this article. Cite evidence to support your answer. Don't get distracted by the baby. Don't just answer these questions individually. They should be answered together as part of one paragraph. You look so like you're admiring me. I don't blame you. Explain the satire. Okay, what is it? The satire in this article is that they're saying that Donald Trump gave a press briefing on hoping that millions of Iranians would die from the coronavirus. Okay, the satire is that's not real. Okay, it's making fun of the situation that we have issues with Iran and we have issues with the coronavirus, and that Donald Trump is so, it's kind of making fun of this idea that Donald Trump is so heartless that he just wants everybody to die. Well, of course he wouldn't say that. Okay. Donald Trump says a lot of things. He wouldn't say that. How does the author use irony, sarcasm, hyperbole? Identify and explain at least 2 specific examples. There's another tough one I think we're struggling with. Get two quotes and explain how are they hyperbole, how are they irony. If you do that, you'll get points for it. So you could say, for example, we need help from every sector to make sure these citizens are unable to receive medical assistance and continue dying in the street. You could say that is irony because you would expect them to be everybody to be helping to get medical assistance rather than make sure they don't get it. Okay, that's irony. What do you expect to happen and what happens are 2 different things. What is the author's true message? The author's just trying to make fun of this idea that Trump is heartless. Okay, they're not really thinking he's heartless, and so if you start going off on saying, "Well, he's a jerk," and all this stuff, you're kind of getting the wrong idea from this article. If you think he's a jerk, you can think that, but the idea in this article is they're making fun of everybody thinking that he just wants everybody dead. They're saying when they use a satire to say, yeah, that's not really going to happen. He's not really going to come out and say this by blowing it out of proportion. And they they make it humorous. Okay. They're making it like, yeah, he's never actually going to say this. And I've read this a couple times, even as I'm reading it, that makes me laugh. Okay. Except there's a lot of people dying, but whatever. What is the author's true message? What change is the author trying to promote in society? Think about that. What if he's saying that maybe Trump's not as bad as some people say? What's the idea they're trying to promote? Okay. A lot of you put stuff like they're trying to unify and fight the coronavirus. Okay, there you go. Some of you said, well, this is just explaining that the coronavirus is really serious and we need to be careful. That's not what it's saying, guys. If that was the case, it would not be blowing the numbers out of proportion, because what that does, you say, oh, 8 million people, not going to happen. So coronavirus isn't that bad. Okay, that's not what they're trying to do. Then they're just trying to tell you, look, things are not as bad as they might be. Dude, you just spit up on me. Okay. Do you agree with the how effective is the satire? Do you agree with the satire and why? Please make sure you answer those questions. Okay. Good luck, guys. Hopefully that helps you out.